Hi everyone! Today I want to make a video that many of you asked for, how much my solo trip to China actually cost. I know that China can sound expensive and confusing when it comes to budget. I really wanted to be transparent and break everything down for you. First, I'll talk about the overall budget, meaning flights, hotel, food, activity, and transport. Then I'll go city by city and explain how much I spent in Shanghai, Beijing, Chengdu, Sanya, and Hong Kong. Of course, this is my personal experience and prices can change depending on your travel style, but I hope it gives you a clear idea. Let's start with flights and trains. My international flights were the biggest expense of this trip. I flew from Europe to China and back. I paid around €700. Inside China, flight and train between cities were actually quite affordable, especially if you book them early. For domestic flights, I spent around €200 in total, and for trains, €100. High-speed trains are super comfortable and not too expensive. Price depends on the distance, but overall it's a great option. So overall, flights were affordable. Once you're in China, traveling between cities is not too bad. It's even cheaper. For accommodation, I mostly stayed in nice hotels. They were comfortable and well located. On average, I paid around €50 to €60 per night. Some cities were cheaper, some more expensive, but overall, hotels in China offer very good value for money. I didn't stay in hostels, but if you do, you can easily spend much less. Food was honestly one of the best surprises. Eating out in China is very affordable, especially for local food. A meal in a local restaurant could cost €3 to €5, sometimes even less. Of course, if you go to more fancy restaurants or hotel restaurants, prices go up pretty quick. But overall, food was cheap and amazing. I didn't really cook. I ate every day out and food never felt like a big expense for me. Activity-wise, I will say that the activities were very reasonable in price. Museums, temples, gardens, and tourist attractions usually cost between €5 to €10 per ticket. Some places were even free or very cheap. Special experiences like shows or the cultural dinner I did were more expensive, but it's still worth it if you want to experience these kind of things. Public transport in China is very cheap and very efficient. Metro tickets usually cost around 30 cents per ride, which is crazy. I use the metro a lot and it was always clean and easy to use. For taxi, I use Didi, which is the Chinese Uber. Prices were also affordable. Even for long ride, I was surprised of the price. Shanghai was one of the most expensive cities of the trip. Hotels were more expensive and shopping can get pricey. Food had a big range, cheap street food, but also expensive restaurants. Overall, I spent more in Shanghai than in other cities, especially on food and shopping. Beijing was slightly cheaper than Shanghai, but still not cheap. Activities like the Great Wall and cultural experience added to the budget. Transport was very cheap, which helped a lot. For Chengdu, I would say Chengdu was one of my favorite cities budget-wise. Hotels were cheaper, food very cheap and delicious, and activities were affordable. I feel like my money went far in Chengdu. It's a great city if you want to enjoy China without spending too much. As for Sanya, I would say Sanya was more expensive because it's a resort destination and the hotel I booked was the most expensive of all. Like the food were more pricey as well, especially near the beach, but it felt like a real break. So for me, it was worth it, like paying this amount. If you stay in luxury hotel like I did, you need to keep in mind that your budget will go up quickly. Hong Kong is known as the most expensive place in China, but I didn't experience it because of some travel issue, so I will not comment that much on this city. So overall, I spent €2,500 for a 2-week trip in China. So China can be very affordable depending on your travel style. Flights are not so expensive, and once you are there, food, transport, and activity are quite cheap compared to Europe, and everything depends mainly on your travel style. I will finish this video by saying that China can be very affordable depending on your travel style. Flights are not so expensive, and once you are there, food, transport, and activity are quite cheap compared to Europe. If you plan well, you can travel comfortably without spending too much. I hope this video helped you understand the real budget of a solo trip in China. If you have any question, feel free to ask them in the comments or on my Instagram. And thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.